The ninja needs to get to the scroll, but how can he even get up there? How can we open 2 doors using only 1 box in this level? The wooden door here can be broken if it is hit by this rolling block, but how can we even make it go up against gravity? Worry not, because we can do all of this using
time travel! What?
So on 1st of August, I decided to join the Brackeys Game Jam, where you have 1 week to make a game based on a theme. The theme for this game jam was Rewind, and as soon as the theme was announced, I knew it was my lucky day, because I was already thinking of making an action puzzle platformer where you can rewind time. Let me explain the mechanic I had in mind. You play as a ninja who has a magical knife. You throw this knife and call it back. Whatever this knife is dashed to can go back in time. This opens up possibilities for a lot of clever puzzles. So this is the idea. Can I make a game about it within 7 days? Now that is a different story. Let's begin. I started by making a to-do list, a list of essential features and a list of optional features. Following that, I started working on a tileset in Photoshop. Having a tileset can make designing levels very easy and quick. So here's the tileset I made, and this will be used to make the levels. Now using this tileset, I made a level. But I very quickly realized that I'm an idiot and my pixel art has too many pixels. I fixed this by using half as many pixels. This is a new tileset. Very cool. Now I made this character who is a ninja. I made him walk like a normal human, but then I realized that he's a ninja, and he must never forget his ninja way of running. Now I have made all the animation for the ninja. He runs, he jumps, he throws knife. I put all these frames of animation on a sprite sheet and import it into Unity. Now at this point, you would have realized that I do not have a death animation. That is because I plan to do it in the exact same way as in this game, because it makes people rage extra hard.
No!
Very cool. Now it was time to make a door. Reaching the door would be the goal of each level. But I realized that ninjas do not like doors. What ninjas like is scrolls. So I made this glowing scroll instead, and I put it in my level. Now we need to control our player with our keys and add the jump functionality. So I write a small script to do this, and within few minutes the ninja can jump. But he's also walking when he's jumping. So I made some adjustments, and by some adjustments I mean a lot of adjustments, which made the ninja run and jump smoothly. Very cool. So today I made some UI which would show the player some instructions and controls. I made this smooth levitating animation on the scroll, and I made this screen transition effect. And with that done, the tutorial level was complete. Now for the next level, I need a wooden box. So I made it quickly in Photoshop, and I also made a platform on which the box will rest on. I also made a lever that will make the platform disappear, so the box can fall when the lever is pulled. This is how it looks all together. It's day 4 and we still don't have the core mechanic of the game, which is rewinding time. So now is the time to do exactly that. To implement that, I followed Brackeys' own tutorial on how to rewind time, and within a few minutes we have it working. This is how it looks. You press R and the box goes back in time. But we also have a small problem. The ninja is sometimes slipping off the box, which can be very annoying for the player. I tried to solve this by adjusting friction and mass values, but it didn't seem to work. Also, I tried various hacks using scripts, and soon I realized that I almost wasted half a day trying to fix this with no success. So I decided to move on and come back to the problem later with a fresh mind. Now we can rewind time, which is cool and all, but we want to do it only when we hit the box with our knife, which is as of now non-existent. So I made this little knife, I made this spinning animation, but I was really not satisfied with it. I wanted something with glow and something that looks cool and special. So I put the old one in the trash and I started making a ninja kunai knife. After about 3 hours, I finally settled down with what looks like this. And after bringing it into Unity and writing down a bunch of code to control its movement, this is what it looks like. This looks good and all, but again I was not satisfied with it. So it's the next day and I was still fixated on making the knife have a better movement. So I wrote a lot of more code to control it, which really didn't go according to plan. The movement on this side feels great, but on this side. So after a lot more adjustments, bug fixing, and after a lot of blood, sweat and tears, I was finally satisfied with the knife movement. I also made it so when the knife hits an object that can be sent back in time, it starts glowing. I added more tutorial text to tell the player how to get through the level. Now at this time, it was pretty late in the night and I tried sleeping, but my brain just refused to calm down. So I stopped trying to sleep and I added this rewind meter that tells the player how far back he can rewind time. I also made this button that can make something happen in the level when pressed. And after doing that, I was finally able to sleep. Today I plan to add more levels into the game. So the first thing I did was to make these wooden gates that will open when interacted with these levers and buttons. I added these gates to the level and the level was done. Now I wanted to introduce a new kind of rewind that actually retains the momentum gained from the rewind. Let me explain. When you do a normal rewind, the game restores its momentum to what it was at that point in time. But in this new rewind mechanic, instead of restoring the momentum it had in the past, it lets it have the momentum it has now. Let's call this rewind Super Rewind for lack of a better word. I made this mechanic and the level was done. After that, I made a couple of more levels. Now making levels with just boxes was getting a little boring, so I decided to make something which is round and heavy, which can even break doors if it had enough speed. So I made this big wooden block and I started to make a level with it. Now what I needed in this level was a slope. The big wooden block can roll down on the slope and gain speed. Now normally when game developers make a slope in the game, they make slope sprites in the ground tile set, but we don't really have time to do that. So what I did, I made this new tile grid. I rotate the whole freaking thing at an angle. Now I don't really recommend doing this. Even Unity is confused right now. The tile palette is also working weird. But surprisingly, it actually works. And you know what they say, if it works, it ain't dumb. Finally, I made this wooden door that will break into pieces when hit by the wooden block. And with that, this level was done. Now it was time to add some juice into the game, just the things to make the game feel more fun. I had to do it by adding sounds, screen shake, post-processing and more. The first thing I did was to make a list of sounds I would need in the game. Then I went to my go-to website and my free-to-use audio collection to look for some good sounds. Again, I had to make sure that I only use copyright-free sounds because it is a rough world out there. I edited and modified the sounds and I added them to my game. After this, it was time to add some screen shake, which was pretty easy to implement. Now I added one more level, which would be the end of the game. It also lets you do crazy stuff like this. Now I really wanted to add a cool looking trail behind the knife, but it would take a lot of time to get it right. And as Abraham Lincoln once said, when you need time the most, the time goes brrr. Now it was getting pretty late in the night, but again my brain just refused to turn off and I could not sleep, so I just started working on the game again. Now you remember the bug which made the player slip down from the box. I finally fixed that bug in this time. After doing this, I was finally able to sleep. Very cool. So it's the next day and I have just 5 hours left to submit the game, but there were still a few things that I wanted to add into the game. First I wanted to have a box pushing animation, which looks so much nicer. I don't even know what's even going on here. By the way, if anyone knows how to make this thing simpler, please let me know in the comments. I also fixed the problem of the box and the player getting stuck into the walls. I just had to make the colliders a little rounder on the edges. Now finally it was time to upload the game. And it's done. So here I am after submitting the game, very happy and extremely tired because I have worked like 70 hours in the last 7 days, which is actually insane for a lazy slop like me. These game jams really get me going and I have a lot of fun doing them. I'm definitely going to expand on this game. I'm planning on making it into a rage action game with slight puzzle elements. Here is a list of things that I'm planning to add to the game, and I would probably release this game on Android and iOS platforms. Stay tuned if you wish to see how that goes. If you have any suggestions that you want to see added in the game, please let me know in the comments. Also, smash like now, because it helps to grow the channel. With that said, I'm out of here. Wish you guys have a great day. Wish you guys are happy and healthy, and wish you guys are achieving your goals. Peace.